Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Storytellers and Naysayers. Naysayers because my last name. I thought it'd be catchy. And so my buddies at that bar in Daytona is like, yeah, you should call your fans Naysayers because of your last name. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So without further ado, my guest today is Sara Thompson, fellow storyteller out here in Florida. Hi, Sara. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me today. I'm proud to be
You're
a
welcome.
naysayer.
Awesome, awesome. It's fantastic. I love it. It's just I don't know. There's like rarely any more I can't find any storytelling like live streams. So I thought, well, I'll just start one, and hopefully there'll be more that I find along the way.
Nice, nice.
Awesome. So you began your storytelling at a young age by simply watching your mother interact with others, in a much nicer of saying she was entertaining, long-winded, and hyperbolic. So
Yeah.
So, what stories were some of your favorites growing up with your mom and stuff?
Um, Pretty much anything, any one of her experiences was, thank you, was it could have been relayed in 10 seconds, but she had to tell you the background and the context and the everything, and a lot of that had to do with. Please, I'm arranging for tech right now. My husband's plugging in the fan because I'm burning up with menopause. Um, a lot of things had to do with pranks she played or pranks that were played on her. Oh, thank you. Pranks that were played on her because she was just that good. And pretty much all of her wedding party, I guess they when she got married, they kind of waited and just pranked the hell out of her. And she would talk about it at length because she needed everybody to know sort of like who she was and why she was a good mark, and how everybody just sort of salivated and waited for her to have a big occasion so that they could do all their best work. But her nickname in life was, as if everybody's if you remember that the character on the TV show, the investigator, he would do his whole questioning, his whole diatribe thing, and then he would walk away, and then he'd go, "Oh, well, one more thing," and he would just give you whatever. She was never done talking. She was like, "Oh wait, one more thing," and I try to not do that in my storytelling, but sometimes it's like,
Indeed,
yeah.
you sometimes just run off on a
She's no longer with
tangent and all
us.
that stuff.
Yeah, she's no
Yeah,
longer with us, so I try to keep her alive in my stories.
awesome. Same here. So I try to keep her alive in my stories too. So it's good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a great way to
Awesome,
carry on that legacy.
indeed. Yep. This year, since she passed, I put her name on the back of the shirts, and so she's part of the artists. So and so it's like all my buddies are wearing her name on stage. So it's like it's a perfect way to do that. So
That's so sweet. I love it.
yeah,
I love
awesome. I
it.
figured those shirts with the angels and the halo and all that stuff was a bit too much. So I thought, well, just put her name on, the
It's so
shirts.
much more you, though, like to have her as an artist contributor to your ventures in your life. Yeah, love that.
Indeed, for sure. And so you didn't realize storytelling was an art form until you attended the Jonesboro International Storytelling Festival in your 40s. Uh, and what was the whole experience like out there at that festival?
That was a really weird, really cool thing. I was kind of dating ish, kind of a guy with a guy who I did not marry, by the way. In case anybody thinks that's Patrick, it's not Patrick. And he really wanted us to take a vacation together. See how I'm telling you a thing and it's a story in itself? This is my mom.
Yeah.
He wanted us to take a vacation together, and we had opposite tastes in anything. I was like, I want to go into the woods and just you know sleep next to a tree, and he's like, I really want to go to Sandals and be weighted on hand and foot. And I'm like, well, guess we won't be vacationing together. And he found the Jonesboro International Storytelling Festival that was in like October, and it's in Jonesboro, Tennessee, in this absolutely beautiful like slice of Americana little small town with these just outrageously talented storytellers that were some true personal stories, a lot more like folklore and Dickens renditions, and and a lot of like musical stuff too, and like ghost stories. And it's a whole festival, and it would last all weekend. And we went to that because that's the thing that like we could probably have in common. And yeah, I fell deeply, truly in love with that. I was like, wow, this really is an art form and not just something that I learned to do from my mom to like talk for hours on it. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is legitimate. And loved it so much that when the festival was over on like, I guess it was Sunday afternoon, I was the festival Thursday through Sunday afternoon. When the festival was over, they announced they were going to have like a discount on the following year's tickets. And we immediately went and bought tickets for the following year. Like this was going to be an annual thing. Well, by the time we went back next year, it was good. It was still good. It was a little different, but we bought tickets for a third year. And by that time I had met somebody else and we did not go to that, but I'd met a storyteller, like an actual storyteller. And that was the guy I ended up marrying. And so his is true personal storytelling. So while he has an appreciation for the folklore and the ghost stories and the things like that, the true personal firsthand experience that you are telling from your own life is really special all its own, and that's what we focus
on. Indeed. And I noticed that about like the Jacksonville storytelling scene and the Orlando storytelling scene. The St. Augustine storytelling scene is more like folklore and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Yep. So I love like the more personal stories because it's like it's just everyone has a story to tell, and I don't want people to tell like other people's stories, but at times I don't mind it. But I'm just like I want to hear something from the heart that really happened to you.
Yeah, something that comes out of your actual experience. It definitely creates connections between people that sometimes are really unexpected. You think you're sharing a story of your most awkward experience, and somebody in the audience corners you later and goes, I cannot believe that kind of happened to me too. And that's how you processed it. Wow, cool. Like, okay, now there's two of us that did that thing.
Yeah.
Just when you were feeling all alone in the world, So
Indeed, most definitely. And so you found your way through true personal storytelling, as we mentioned earlier. And so you get to hear your most traumatic, hilarious, and awkward life experiences. And what are some of your most traumatic, hilarious, and awkward life experiences?
Oh, just the most embarrassing moments in middle school, junior high school. Just being awkward and weird and like taller than everybody, and then slipping on a French fry and supermaning through the cafeteria through a puddle of grape juice. It just your own grape juice, which is horrible, but yeah. And in now it sounds like, oh, that's kind of hilarious, but then it was devastating. I was 12. Everything is devastating when you're 12. Everything. Yeah, and just I love talking about most embarrassing moments because we can all look at each other and go, yeah, that's pretty cringe. This cringe is flying up. But like that was an awkward thing. A traumatic thing would be like being really excited to stay the night with this one dude that I was dating a long time ago, and it was very it was going to be very meaningful to me. And then he had the coke dick, and it just didn't. And I was like, oh, and that was kind of traumatic for me, given the feelings that I'd had for him at the time, and how that whole scene ended. But that's a story that I have fleshed out a couple of times, no pun intended, into a microphone, and it's still. I need to tweak it a few more ways to make it sort of palatable, because right now it's just me standing in a microphone going, give me therapy, everyone, please. And that's not what storytelling's for. But I like that my hilarious moments win out in there's more of them. I'll take that any day.
Indeed. That's what I love about storytelling and stand-up, is like they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's I said to my therapist once that I'm kind of the fat, funny friend in the friend group. And he was like, wait a minute. And he warned me against like self-deprecating humor. You have to watch yourself. Okay. Thank you. I will. So I've been really trying to make sure I tell my story in a way that honors me, even though I'm half the time I'm the fool in my own story. I'll take it. It's fine.
And for sure, it's always fun. And like I remember, like one of my horror stories from like high school was like I didn't like to use my locker, so I carried all my books in my book bag.
Oh, gosh.
And I was in the lunchroom and I dropped something and I went to go pick it up and I just fell over. Like the bag just brought me down, and like I was hoping nobody saw me, and then somebody did. I'm like, ah, great, that's just.
And
And
once
of
one
course,
person
someone's
sees you,
yeah,
everyone.
indeed, which is great. It's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, my wrist hurts, but I'll make it through.
Did you hurt yourself? Did you break something?
Oh no, it's just this. Just I landed wrong, but I didn't break anything. So
Just a
thank
flush.
goodness.
Thank goodness. Because that could have gone
Mhm.
all wrong. Yeah.
Indeed, bones sticking out and everything. So,
Oh, oh,
uh,
oh, yeah.
yeah, no, thank you. So, you have like a multi-career history and lifetime of failures and wins into often relatable content, and that's why I love like sticking around for your stories. Well, you always go first, or like or Patrick, and so it's always
Yeah.
great. And sometimes you tell some like a new story towards the end if there's more room, and that's why I love like sticking around to listen to yours, and why I selected you as part of the festival, because there's a lot of just Jacksonville storytellers too, and a lot of Florida storytellers, but you're like one of my favorites.
Thank you. That really means a ton to me because I know you're 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 so established and you're just like so I don't want to say you're part of the scene. You kind of are the scene. So that means a ton to me. It really does.
Awesome. Is this your first festival that in Florida?
Yeah, it's my first storytelling
Really?
festival in Florida. It's actually the first storytelling festival where I'm telling a story,
Oh
like ever.
wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So I'm I'm yeah, I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. Because I did tell a story at a festival. It wasn't a storytelling festival. It was a like a spirit, art, music, justice festival we go to every year called the Wild Goose Festival, and it's we do storytelling workshops and stuff there because there are great ways to engage others and process your own healing and things like that. Um, so we were going to do a story slam on the final night that we were there, and any festival that's the whole weekend long, everything culminates sort of on the last night that you're there, like the big name band is there, and uh, the big musical acts and the celebrity people, whatever. And so we had a lot of competition. That our story slam was scheduled for 9 p.m. the last night, and there was a big beer and hymns, and then there was a big other thing, and then there was some celebrity author was giving a talk. And so I was like, well, nobody's going to come to our storytelling, and that's fine. But everything else got rained out. We were in a tent. We were in an official festival tent, and there was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 people in there with us when we started the story slam, and it was fine. And sort of as we went along, like a bunch more people would come in because beer and hymns got rained out. Oh, okay, so now we have 20 people. And then another group would come along because the main stage has been shut down, and now the coordinator's telling everybody to just go back to their tents because there's lightning. And we've got like a tent full of people. We're just crammed together, and the fan's on full blast, and it's 90 degrees, and it's pouring down rain, and we are having way too much fun telling stories to go back to our tents. We're like, this is a tent. It was a lightning rod, basically, but you know what? We were having too much dang fun having story time there. So yeah, we will tell stories at festivals like that, but like this one where there's a microphone and we're not all just beer soaked and sun soaked and haven't showered in too long. Yeah, this is new territory for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. I promise to shower.
Awesome.
I promise I won't.
Yep, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing, and like the storytelling is followed by the music, and some of the musicians are comedians, and so they have the most silliest songs, and they're like,
Oh, awesome.
yeah, it's like Weird Al following you all, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, now I'm even looking forward to it more because I don't think I realized that. I thought there was music. I'm like, I thought there was gonna be music. No, there's gonna be music by comedians. Oh man.
Oh
Full
yeah,
parts.
indeed. Oh man, there's some Taco Bell songs and just some just I brought them back from last year because they're my comedian buddies, and I'm like, they've never performed like their first time ever doing like their music live. Pretty much, it's like it's rare for them to perform like their music because they're always doing stand up. So for
Oh,
them to branch out, it's gonna be pretty rad. So
oh, cool. Oh man.
yeah, indeed. So you live. Speaking of it was the Wild Goose festival you mentioned, and I had Patrick on one of the previous episodes. And he spoke of it as well. So
Yeah.
you live in Jacksonville with your storytelling husband, the house full of dogs and cats, and a garden, and you named all your trees. So what's the names of your dogs and cats and the name of your trees?
So we're down to one dog now because we sadly had to say goodbye to one of our senior dogs last month, and that was Philly. So our remaining dog is Callie, and I'm trying to treat her like a puppy, even though she's as old as her sister was. And Callie's a sweet gal. We've got 3 cats, 2 dumpster cats that we adopted back at the beginning of the pandemic, named he came to us. His name was Toby, and once I got to know his personality, I elongated that to Dr. Tobias Myunki for my Arrested Development fans out there. If you know, you know. He's a blowhard, and his little sister Lyra. And I had one cat already, and she just hates them. And so her name is Milani. She's a tortoise shell. She's got big attitude, big diva energy, and she has made my home office her cat room. So it's a lot of fun when I get on Zoom calls at work because I'm a manager where I work. I have to show up with some credibility. But here's this cat butt, like, hey, oh my god, it's horrible. So yeah, and part of the pandemic, you know, because we all kind of picked up a hobby if we were stuck at home, and I had already planned on making a garden here in the backyard of this house that we bought in 2019, with brilliant timing because we'd had the house for like 5 months and then the world shut down. I don't know. I to embrace sort of the pagan roots of
It froze on
are
us.
we still on?
Yep, we're still on, but it froze like it was choppy.
Okay, sorry.
It's
I'm I'm trying to do this thing where I connect with nature and like, you know, and try to embrace the paganism of sort of my 40s and 50s in life, and really wanted to make a backyard garden. And so I don't do anything halfway, but I also don't finish anything. So I went in, you know, full swing to getting this garden going, and it's a decent garden now. But my trees and perennials, I had to give them names because we have to bond. You know, I have to like make sure I check on them and I talk to them and I encourage them. I'm that girl.
indeed.
I just my neighbors got to look at me and go, "What the hell? Is that white girl eating her lawn again?" Yeah, yeah, I am. But so I've got I've got a peach tree that I've named Marble. I've got 2 fig trees. One is Celeste and the other one is Figgy Smalls. Um, I've got a guava bush named Brava Guava. And I started collecting citrus trees. I thought I might have a citrus grove in the front yard. I don't know. Anyway, I started with a grapefruit tree that we're calling Pamela. And then just added to that family this year was a honey tangerine I'm calling Phrasine, A blood orange I'm calling Flossie, and a lime tree that I've had for like 3 months. It's given me all kinds of limes now, and she's not supposed to. She's too young for that, but I'm eating them. And the lime tree is called Rita for margaritas. Um, then my husband and his mother started a Meyer lemon tree years ago, and now we have it. So that's named after her. That her name is Susie.
Awesome.
Yeah, my blackberry is called Lolly, and my blueberry grove is called the Squad. I don't know. I probably should get out more, but why would I when I have all these new friends in my yard?
Indeed. I need
Yeah.
to learn to talk to my plants too, but other than that, they're growing, and then, I need to encourage them to grow a little bit, every day. But the
What kind of
brain's
plants do you have?
handling I'm sorry.
What kind of plants do you have?
Oh, they're all my. They were all my mom's, so I just had to keep them green until till my dad gets here, then he's taking over. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
so I didn't want to bond too much with them. So
Well, you can. They're staying in the family.
yeah, that's true. I don't
But
even have any names for them, but I'm like, oh, they're nice.
hello, you. Good work,
Yeah,
you. Nice.
and I always see like lizards walking all over the place. So I named them all Koopas, like the Koopa Troopas. I just say hi, Koopa. Just don't bite me or not.
It doesn't matter if there's one or a different one. It's just Koopa.
Yeah, just Koopa.
I'm in. I'm on board with that. Yeah. It's like I say boo boo. Everybody's boo boo. Not just you. Everybody's boo boo. Cats,
Yep.
babies, dogs, lizards. Yeah. Koopa. I
In
like that.
for sure. So you're a Myers Briggs NFMFP. What's Myers Briggs and INFP?
Um, I can tell you about the first digit and the last digit. I don't know what the N and F, but the introvert is the I. So that's why you see Myers Briggs designations starting with I or E for introvert or extrovert. And I'm an introvert, which is why I'm such a riot at parties, because I have to go home and stare at a wall for 3 days just to recharge. Uh, but that's introvert, and I don't know what N and F are, but I remember that I'm N and F. I should probably know about this. But then P, it stands for your Myers-Briggs designations end with either a P or a J for perception or judgment, I think. And judgment, J people tend to see things in more of like a not binary, but sort of this is right, this is wrong, this is dark gray, this is light gray, this and there are hard and fast rules for judging something, whereas the P is perceptive. And so people with the P, I want to say, have, please don't quote me on any of this, I could be completely wrong, and probably am. The P is a perceptive, and we have to decide, is it good or bad given the context. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Indeed. So
Because
I looked up
I'll explain that.
I looked up INFP, and it's a introversion, intuition, feeling, perception.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Introversion, intuition, feeling, perception. As opposed to feeling as opposed to thinking. And yeah. I don't know what the opposite of the intuition is, but I married an ENFJ. So
Oh,
that's been fun. We have the introvert extrovert, and then we have the perception judgment, which is fun. It's fun to talk about things in our household.
I need to take that test to find out what I am, because I just don't know. But yeah, it seems like a
I'd be
fun
super
test.
curious to know. Yeah.
Indeed. As soon as I know, I'll let you know, because it looks like what do you? Oh, it's the 16 personalities thing, right?
I
It's
think
like
so.
.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think I did take it, and then I have it sent to my email, and I think I have it on my Twitter, or
Oh, okay.
X, and so I'll send you the screenshots of what it said about me. So
Okay, cool.
okay,
Cool. I'm
sounds
curious.
good. Indeed. So let's see here. And then and Enneagram 2, what's that?
That's a different zodiac. My husband calls these all zodiacs because he's like, none of them mean crap. It's like, that's fine. An Enneagram, there are this is really bought into very heavily by um, what I want to say, my ex-evangelical community, like people who are brought up in evangelicalism and have kind of wandered out and around and away from. A lot of us got into Enneagrams because kind of in sort of a getting to know yourself kind of thing. And I know that a couple that I know that went through couples counseling, they didn't call it the Enneagram test, but the counselor had the two people take each a test to find out what Enneagram number they are. And so each, and I honestly don't know what the other numbers really mean either, but you've got Enneagrams 1 through 9, and it's a whole long test that you can take. It basically describes your personality and how you navigate the world and how you present when you're healthy, how you present when you're not healthy, and kind of it's a helpful way to understand yourself and the people that you engage with. I'm an Enneagram 2, and so I'm the helper, the nurturer. I would historically, and this is another thing I get from my mom, I'm trying to curb it, give of myself, which is, yay, a good thing, but I would give of myself until there was nothing else, and then I would still try to give of myself, emptying the pitcher and trying to squeeze the blood out of a turnip kind of thing. And that's what Enneagram 2s are kind of known for. I hope I got that right. Anyway, there's the 5, the Enneagram 5, which is the inquisitive, like really want to know the why of the things. There's the Enneagram 7, who is like the organizer of the parties. They bring the people together. They plan the fun events. They really are crazy. I'm not crazy to talk about the heavy stuff kind of thing. There are Enneagram 8s who are like your in charge people. They are assertive. They are, I'm not going to say aggressive because that's not what they are, but so they can be seen as overly assertive, sometimes aggressive, because that's just who they are. And then I don't know what the other numbers are, but I know that it gets way into like, oh, I'm a 2, but when I'm not healthy, I present as an 8, and when I am healthy, I present as a 4. I'm still that's just a lot. I'm just me. I when I say I'm an Enneagram 2, usually there's like 2-3 people that are like, hey, I see you. I'm a 2. I'm the 2-iest 2 to ever 2 or whatever. Yeah.
For sure. I feel like I'm a combination of all of them that you mentioned. I'm like, yeah, like you said, it's like it depends on like what, like if you're sick or you're feeling well, you're one like 2 or 8 or 7. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I think we're a little bit of everything, pretty much, depending on
Well,
the
and
mood.
it's like I'm still kind of learning about it, but like so I'm a 2, and when I'm healthy, when I'm taking care of myself, when I'm eating properly and getting enough rest, when I'm not overdoing it, and when I'm I have all the good parts of an Enneagram 4, which I forget what the Enneagram 4 is. But when I'm not healthy, I will show the bad parts of an Enneagram 8. So like the barking orders and the short temper and so when people start seeing that out of me and they're like, ooh, you're kind of being a bitch right now, then I have to step back and go, oh my gosh, I'm not presenting like my healthy self. I need to take a step back and like, do some work. Theoretically.
For sure.
Oh, I haven't heard anybody tell me that, hey, calm the hell down, Sarah. You're being kind of intense right now. So I think I'm doing it right.
For sure. So I found my results. I am an INFJ-A, which is 78%
INFJ.
introverted, 63%. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say -A. Like, I didn't know there was a subgenre.
Yep. I didn't know either, so I just took the test. And then there's like a 78% introverted, so 63% intuitive, 73% feeling, 58% judging, and 54% assertive. So I guess.
Assertive.
Hmm.
Hmm. So I'm wondering, maybe there's a dash P for passive. I don't know.
Possibly. I
Oh,
don't know either. I was
got
just curious.
S then they added a thing. Shoot. Okay. Well,
They
dang.
keep adding them, I guess,
I
and so
know
you, it just never ends,
it
never
doesn't,
ends.
and I think that's why when at the church that we go to, we're very highly encouraged to do Enneagram work. As it means to just to get to know yourself and get to know what makes you tick and what makes you not tick, so that you can present healthy to the world. And we all did our Enneagrams. I was like, I'm a 2, and my friend's like, well, I'm a 7, and I'm like, I see that about you. My friend's like, I'm an 8, and I'm married to an 8, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know how that works, but okay, and then whatever. And I go to Patrick and I'm like, what's your Enneagram number? And he's like, no, he's not gonna take it. He's like, I'm not. I did the Myers Briggs. I'm done. I'm stopping there. I'm like, okay, that's I can't like diagnose him as like, oh, you're a 5. Although I think he might be a 5, but I'm not telling him that. But yeah, and there's
For
always
sure.
the certain numbers will complement each other in healthy relationships. And so, like, a 1 and a 7, I guess, are really good together. A 2 and a 7 are pretty good together. 2 8s in the same household are like, wow, that's got to be interesting. 2 very assertive, very take charge personalities.
Mm,
I know people that make it work though, and that's awesome. Yeah.
for sure. It's like horoscopes and zodiacs, like Virgos and Capricorns and stuff. It's like they make the
Yeah.
perfect match. And so you're a Gemini with a Leo moon and Pisces rising. That's why I wanted to go into zodiac.
I don't know what the moon and the rising are. Like when I started getting onto the witchcraft stuff in some of my Facebook groups. They're like, okay, guys, here's a here's a new one. You know your sun sign. That's the sign that you were born under. Okay, great. What's your moon and rising? And I'm like, I guess that's a whole thing. And I just found this out like recently, so I don't know what it means yet, but I know that I'm that moon and that rising. It's based on not only what day of the year you were born, it's also based on your geographic location of birth and what was the moon phase or something like that at your birth. I don't know. I put very little stock in it, but when somebody asks, I say, and then I watch them go, oh, cool. Oh, okay, I see that. And I'm like, good, because I have no idea what it means. It's just fun. It's fun for me.
Yeah.
So I put in my
It's like,
I put in all my zodiacs to my bio. I'm like, I'm an Enneagram 2. I have INFP and dance go size 38. And
indeed, I put my zodiac signs in my Twitter, my Instagram bios, because I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna join any dating apps, so it's all right there in my bio. It's like, here it is. But yeah, I'm a
exactly.
Capricorn Sun. I think Tau- Taurus Moon or something, or Aries Moon, Cancer Rising, and I don't know. I'll just send you the private. Like there's a private chat on here, so I'll just
Hmm.
copy and paste because I just put in the symbols. So I'm just like, maybe you know these things. There we go. So whatever
Ooh,
those are, there they are. So
cool. I don't know what any of
yeah,
it means, but I think it's
me
cool.
neither. Yeah, they go put in the time of your birth and all the day and all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, put it all in there. Cause like my friend Sandra, she loved those horoscopes, and I'm like, all right, here they are. Whatever tells
Yes.
you that, it's like, all right, sounds good, sounds
Yeah.
good with me. And you just mentioned that Dansko size 38. What's the Dansko size 38?
I'm gonna start including it in every sort of like descriptor. Like I, I used to wear Dansko shoes. They're a clog type of shoe, and I wore them when I worked in restaurants. And nurses, people in the medical profession, love these shoes too because it's built in such a way as to propel you forward so that you can walk easily, you can move around easily. And so people in medical facilities and people in kitchens, they're wearing the heck out of these shoes. And I found them way back when, and they're not cheap at all. And trying one on in a store is like fine, but gosh, Dansko makes a whole lot of styles that you generally don't see in person in like a shoe store. So it's a good thing to be able to know your size and to order them online. And Dansko is the only shoe I can order online because I know my number, and they never deviate in size. And I can go online proudly. I can't do this with any other shoe, any other article of clothing besides maybe a hat. And even then, that's questionable. But I can get online and I can order a pair of Danskos. I know they're a size 38. They're going to fit me perfectly. Thank you very much. So I was at a garage sale the other day. They had a Dansko 38. I'm like, those are mine. Those are mine. I probably wear them now. Bought them from a nurse. So yeah, I can't give like my measurements, but I can give you the Dansko shoe size.
Huh. I need to go and check out these clogs.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully there's like a physical store that I can go to so I can measure my feet. But we'll see.
I think you can go to. I think there's there are several stores around town that sell them. But I think once you get your size, then you can go. Thank you very much, and a website. Oh gosh.
Awesome.
Such good stuff.
Most definitely. I'm just like wearing Skechers because I got 40-year-old feet with hammer toes. I gotta go fix these hammer toes.
Skechers is what I started wearing when I stopped being able to afford Danskos when I was working in restaurants. Oh. You're not always making Dansko money when you're a cook. So it's like, yeah, Skechers, very good. I love the Skechers.
Indeed, most definitely. So, Sarah, which there's I'll have you nominate just like Patrick nominated like storytellers too. Which 5 storytellers in Jacksonville would you like to be see on a future episode of Storytellers and Ney-Sayers?
5 storytellers in Jacksonville I'd like to see on a future episode. Okay, I would really love to see Louis Betancourt, which I'm probably going to repeat a lot of what Patrick already told you. I would love to see Louis Betancourt, Patty Peoples, Mary Beth Blevins, Christina Shriver. Who would my 5th one be? Robert Colacello.
Awesome. Indeed, excellent choices. And like Barbara has her lab tonight.
Narrow it down to 5.
Awesome. I love Christina. She was my comedy mom. I still consider her my comedy mom, and I'm glad she's going back doing stand up and running the Paper Route Showcase and comedy showcase, and hopefully she starts doing storytelling again because I love her stories. And Babs is just awesome too, and she has her Babs Labs tonight, the Story Slam. So I won't be able to make it to that one, but I'll go to the next one because I gotta go pick up my dad. So
right on.
Indeed. So Sarah, do you have any upcoming storytelling shows coming up?
We have our monthly storytelling at Hyperion Ale Works Ale House. Why did I say that? At Hyperion in Springfield, home of the Nano Brewery. We're doing that on October 5th, starting at 7. I think we listed at 7, and then people kind of wander in from 7:30 to 8. So it's really loose 7. And the theme this month is tricks and treats. Tricks or treats. Tricks and treats. Halloween theme. I've been really concentrating more on the story that I'm telling next weekend at your festival than I have on the upcoming thing that I'm co-hosting in a matter of days. I should probably get boogieing on that, but it's going to be mad fun. It always is mad fun. Um, and that's part of our monthly storytelling series. We'll have another one the first week of November, the first week of December, always on a Thursday, and always the first week of the month, except February. We always have to line up February with Valentine's Day because we want to hear crazy ex stories, breakup stories, messy relationship stories. But yeah, this one's going to be Halloween themed. My favorite thing about our open mic is that it's truly an open mic, and that we show up with a blank sheet of paper for people to sign up on. And if we start the event and there's one name on there and it's like the name of the host, okay, all right, we're gonna do this. He starts with a story, and then I will come in with another story, and then we'll be like, about to get awkward if we're just gonna stand up here and stare at each other. And so then, the more stories that come out, the more people in the audience, or what they thought they were going to be the audience members, that reminds them of a thing. And so they'll go, you know what, maybe I should tell that story about that one time. And they'll sign up on the sheet and they'll tell their story. And maybe that will spark a memory in somebody else in the room. And before you know it, this has happened a lot of times. We'll have a whole night full of storytellers from people who came out just thinking they were going to have a beer and play checkers. But no, because, they got reminded of a thing and that they wanted to share that thing. And oftentimes what we start with one theme, we started with a back to school theme one time, and we ended up with a bully, a bully getting retribution or something. It was just like, oh, that was a fun track. But just to watch the theme morph throughout the night because everybody's engaging at different levels. I love that. I can't wait to see what happens this next week and at our future storytellings.
Indeed. I can't wait. Yep. I won't be able to make it to this one because of the festival. I'll be like, my head will be spinning, but I'll go to the one in November for sure. Because I love your story. And then you get, the first 10 people that sign up get a free drink. It's like, you can't beat that.
You cannot beat that. Yeah. And they've got cool sodas and really good wine. If for people who don't drink, for people who don't drink beer, they've got awesome beer. But people who don't drink beer, they have sodas and wine and stuff. I think he's going to be working on a hard root beer soon because all their stuff is brewed in house. And I've brewed with him before. He's good. He's really good. So. And sometimes we'll get the beer tenders to tell stories too. That's always yeah.
That's pretty neat. And I love Hyperion. I mean, they're just like, we got to see like the Rocky Horror Picture Show there. We had like the Christmas Carol that we read there, and we had stand up at one point in time, and we had storytelling there, and it's just so great and clean. And I wish they brought the kitchen back, but in due time, I guess.
Yeah.
But the sodas are always on point for me because I don't drink alcohol. But if I did, I would drink Hyperion all the time. So
right on. If I drank beer more often, it would always be Hyperion. But yeah, they really are. They're a nano brewery with a very good product that also has community engagement space, and that was that. I think that's always been their goal. But really, at the beginning of the pandemic, you couldn't just go into a tap room and hang out and have a beer and tell stories and play darts or whatever. So they really had to get creative on their community engagement, and they did, and they did it well, and they survived that pandemic, in no small part due to their great management and the fact that they always want to be a spot for the community. So when we got back together, this is where we're going. This is a good thing. I love them too.
Indeed, and it's perfect. Whether you're performing inside or outside, the audio quality is just perfect, and like and it's different because like breweries, like a lot of breweries are different because like some of them are just too big to do the events, but Hyperion is just right.
Yeah,
it really is.
And I agree. It's cozy enough.
Yep.
But big enough you bring all your friends. Yeah, you can fit everybody.
For sure. And
Yeah.
yep, I love that place and can't wait to tell more stories there. And when you brought up the X Files, it was like, oh man, I remember that X story that I said about my ex roommate. I was like, oh,
That will forever be my favorite story of yours. And I'm not
awesome.
going to say anything about it because everything's a spoiler, but I can't wait to hear it again.
Indeed. I'll bring it back in February because, like, I tried doing it as a stand-up act, and I'm like, this is just not going anywhere. But when I bring in the storytelling, I'm like, oh, this is great.
It's a fantastic story. And yeah, and
I-
it's real and it's transparent. You're like, look, I did this. We're like, oh my God, you did this. Yeah,
yep.
it's pretty awesome.
And
It's pretty
they
awesome.
deserved it too. So,
They had it coming.
no pun intended.
Oh my God. Okay, so is there a recording of that story anywhere? I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but
um, I don't think so, but
okay.
I hope maybe I'll capture it. But I was like, maybe not, because like uh, one of my past roommates is still in my life, so
You're right. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
yeah,
that's just gonna be like a you had to be there thing.
yeah,
Sarah told this awesome story, and I can't tell you anything about it. Okay.
yeah. You just have to be there. You're just like get off YouTube, just go.
Yes, exactly. You have to be there in the moment
Hmm.
because hearing it live is bananas. It's awesome. Oh, I
Maybe
can't
I'll
wait now.
if I didn't have like the festival theme for this festival, I'll just save it for your show. Like it'll be like your exclusive story for every February. So since it's your favorite.
So honored. You're gonna show up, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, he's gonna do the thing. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
At first, I felt guilty because, like, people are eating, but I'm like, you know what? It's in my heart and soul. I'm just gonna bare my soul, and
That's
so
right. That's
yeah,
right. You know what? And I didn't realize we all were eating, but well, you come to a storytelling. You come to a storytelling ragging on everybody talking about their ex. It's gonna get. It's gonna. It could get messy. There was one X Files that we did that morphed from My Crazy Ex to The Worst First Date. Okay, great. So The Worst First Date. And we had more than one person talk about like explosive diarrhea on a first date where they're not at her she's not at her dorm, she's at his dorm room, and there was a big old shared bathroom for the whole floor or whatever.
oh,
Yeah. That was cringe. And she's like, oh my God. I'm thinking, I don't know whether we were eating or not, but bless her. God bless her for telling that story because it's been like years and that still sticks in my mind. Yeah, that was high cringe. But you know what? You come to a storytelling, it really, you can't really, you got to prepare yourself about anything. So,
yep. Just
and
no
it's a
political rants or sermons. Everything else, it's a go.
right. That's right.
Yep.
And it's all 1,000% genuine. And that's all we ask for. So we honor that.
Indeed. I love it, Sarah. I can't wait to see you perform at the fest, and I can't wait to perform at future shows at Hyperion. We're gonna have a really great time, and follow Sarah on all socials that's listed below, and my information is below too. So there's Sarah's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My link tree is there if you want more information about the festival. It's free to get in. You can't beat that. And so enjoy some stand-up, storytelling, film, and all that music, all that stuff. It's gonna be rad.
It's going to be so
Awesome.
rad.
So, Sarah, is there any final words you'd like to give out to the audience at home before
Oh,
we
I
go
didn't
off
have anything
air?
prepared. Be prepared. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourselves. We need to see you at the festival.
Yep, indeed. Just like
That's all.
Figgy Smalls. Stay hydrated.
Figgy Smalls. Figgy Smalls sends their regards.
Awesome. As for everyone else, we'll see you all at the next episode of Storytellers and Naysayers, and we'll see you at the festival, hopefully. All right.